students. So today we are going to study about the formation of urine and collection of urine. So formation of urine takes place in the kidneys. Yesterday we have discussed about it, that how nephron collects the waste and forms the urine. There are certain steps in the formation of urine that we are going to study in detail. Okay, so first step in the formation of urine is ultrafiltration. In ultrafiltration, what happens? The glomerulus, where from the renal artery the waste containing blood enters in the nephron, in the glomerulus. So in the glomerulus, by high pressure of the blood, the diffusion takes place, and by the process of diffusion and osmosis, the exchange of things takes place over there. So what happens, as in the Bowman's capsule there is negligible or no presence of waste. So the nitrogenous waste like urea and uric acid, amino acids, sugars, salts, they get diffused from blood into the Bowman's capsule under a very high pressure of the blood exerted by coming from the renal artery. So because of this high pressure, the substances get diffused from glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule, and then it enters to the tubular part. And in the tubular part, the water, the amount of water, the more amount of water is also get diffused, get absorbed in the Bowman's capsule. And with this water, different amino acids are there, sugars are there, salts are there, or even the proteins are there, and the urea and uric acid. All these substances get mixed with the water and flow down in the tubule of the nephron. And then the second step takes place, and that second step is nothing but selective reabsorption. So whatever the substances which are absorbed in ultrafiltration in the water and flow down through the tubules of the nephron, that all are brought into the Henle's loop. Yes, so first they come in the Henle's loop, and from Henle's loop the reabsorption of substances takes place. In this reabsorption of substances, what happened? The important substances are also diffused in the water with the nitrogenous waste. In the ultrafiltration, the necessary substances are also get diffused in the water, so that are actually needed by the blood again. So what happens in the Henle's loop, when the renal vein comes in contact, okay, if you have remembered, this is the Bowman's capsule where the glomerulus, this is the tubule, and from here the renal vein extends down and get coiled upon the Henle's loop. Right here in Henle's loop it get coiled upon. So what happens here, by the process of diffusion again in the blood, now sugars are less, amino acids are less, salts are less, and amount of water is also quite less. So here in the place of Henle's loop, again the diffusion process takes place, and again the important substances like sugars, amino acids or salts and a little amount of water also get reabsorbed in the blood, and then it is sent to the inferior vena cava with the help of renal vein. Okay, and this is how the selective reabsorption takes place in Henle's loop. And then further the urine formation takes place, and this urine is further sent to the distal convoluted tubule DTC towards the part which is in between the tubule and the collecting duct. The distal part of the tubule, the end part of the tubule is called as distal part, distal convoluted tubule, where the tubular secretion takes place. So here what happens? The ions like potassium ion, ammonium ion, which is there in the urine, is reabsorbed again in the blood. These potassium ions called as K plus or NH4 plus, these ions are very important ions in the blood, which actually maintains the homeostasis, as we have talked about the function of kidney, that it maintains the homeostasis. That means it maintains the internal environment of the minerals. The amount of minerals are very important in the blood, and all these are maintained with the help of homeostasis, and that is done here by the third process called as tubular secretion. So in tubular secretion, the ions like potassium ion, ammonium ion, such kind of ions which are present in the urine are reabsorbed in the blood and sent to the inferior vena cava. So these three processes are there, and then after that the urine formation takes place, which contain nearly 92% of water and remaining 8% of nitrogenous waste and some amount of protein, some amount of say sugars, and with that it has one very important pigment, and that pigment is called as urochrome. This urochrome remains in the urine and impart pale yellow color to the urine. So with these, in this 8%, the urochrome, which imparts the pale yellow color to the urine, is also present, and then through the distal convoluted tubule the urine enters in the collecting duct. So then after that the urine disposal, the removal of urine process takes place. In removal of urine, what happens? The urine from the collecting duct enters in the ureters, right? I have talked about it, that the two long tube-like structures which extend down from the kidneys, that are called as ureters. So from the collecting duct, urine enters in the ureters. Urine flow down from the ureters and gathered in a muscular sac-like structure called as urinary bladder, and unless and until the urinary bladder is totally filled with the urine is not going to go out of human body. Once the pressure is exerted by the filled bladder, then because of that pressure the opening called as urethra opens and the urine is passed out from the human body. And this is how the disposal of urine, the removal of urine is done in human body. So this is how the urine formation and removal of urine is done in human body. I hope you understood today's topic. In our next session, we are going to talk about when the arteries fail, when the renal artery, or if suppose when the renal vein fails.